So this behind render, I wanted to do an actual like video that I can talk over. So I can go over like how I made the animation, with issues that I had with it, how I solved them, and just so I can convey a little bit more information. But it was a really hard project because yeah, a lot of people might have cheated out and just gotten an animation from SFM, but funnily enough, you can't for some reason from the Meet the Heavy because it explodes really hard. I might have a picture here of what it looks like overlaying, but it explodes really hard, so I wasn't able to reference the model or animation in game from the Heavy. So what I actually did was I was having SFM open on my second monitor and going just like frame by frame, copying little animation bits and ticks and whatnot. So I can do so I can make it look like it does as well. A lot of people like the camera shake that it has as it's playing. I've had a couple people ask me if I somehow found a way to rip the actual animation from the camera, because apparently that's a really hard thing to do. But no, it's just me animating some wobble to it using some modifiers. And let me go click on it. Come on. There we go. If I can, it's just I just animated some modifiers that rotated up around with this noise modifier in the graph editor. It just gives it a little bit of a wobble as it moves around, and all I'm doing is at certain points I make it so that it has less wobble, but it's still wobbling a little bit. And I'm just animating like the field of view and whatnot, shifting it back and forth. This little gizmo is my like point target that I animate around. It also controls, if I go into here, it controls depth of field. Let me zoom in. So wherever this thing is, controls depth of field. So it's a really useful trick to have that set up. A lot of people I know a couple people that don't do this, and they try to target the camera manually, and it's not fun. But it was it was a fun project. The worst thing was the thing I regret the most is actually the grip here, because this gun, that grip, the gun is a separate object. So I had to be animating him carrying the object in his hands, so it's locked in place in his hands. So I used a lot of these empties as what I just called like control anchors, where I would, let me where's it? There you are. Where I would use these constraints that I would animate on and off. See, there it is. Right now, all it's doing is it's literally it's locked to the left hand, or sorry, the right hand. And then when he drops it, I am unlocking it. You can see there's a little bit of a frame check where it shifts into place. I'm literally just animating it no longer being connected to his hand, and it's just stuck in world space. And that's how that worked. But the problem is that when he goes to grab it, I can't animate him holding it anymore, because he's gripping at completely different spots. So the grip is a little bit tricky, so I had to figure out, it's like, okay, how can I have its rotation point, which is all the way down here, shift around with his grip and line up. You can see it's still a little bit wonked, but it's okay. It's okay. People aren't gonna notice that. But what I'm most proud of, though, is the phenomes, the lip sync. Because, oh boy, yeah, look at all these keyframes. Manually getting all these keyframes for all the lip syncing. This was fun. Going at the beginning, he goes, "Ah, yeah, I am the heavy weapon guy. It's a really easy one." So I was like, "Oh, I'll get this animation done in like 2-3 days." But then I realized, oh, he goes and he says a different shape every second. For like every like 2 frames, he's saying a new shape, and that took a lot of work. As you can see, it's just going crazy over there. But a fun trick is that I use the fact that it's just a character that's talking fast to cover up some lip sync issues, because there's some shapes that I can't really make without manually posing bones in the face around, but I didn't want to have to do that. It's extra work. So there's shapes like the th, that sound. That it completely doesn't even exist, and there's no way I can make that shape. But because he talks so fast, it just skips right over that. So when he says thousand, it you don't even notice. But now that I've said it, you might notice. Oh, he doesn't actually make that th sound with his lips and his tongue. It doesn't exist. But he's highly expressive. Oh, well, I'm looking at the face. Another thing some people might have complained to me about is that when they pose the face around, the normals of the face might break. So I've had two people already ask me, why didn't your normals on your face break? It's actually because of just this fun trick where his face isn't actually connected. It's using this face proxy that I've got. Let me show it. You can see there's the other face, and this is just copying the normals to the other face using a data transfer. So that I get the normals of it not being posed around on a version of it where it is posing around, right? It's a fun little trick. But it was a good project. There's a while I'm actually at it, I can talk about how I got the actual, the scenery, the background, the entire warehouse and whatnot. It was actually a tool I found just randomly Googling called like Source.io utils. There it is. Where it's literally just, you can import the BSP of a map and it loads it up like with all the static objects and the lights and whatnot, and it loads it up. You go through and you just enable all the different items and whatnot. If I zoom out, you can see this is the entire Meet the Heavy map. If you haven't seen it before, this is the skybox, but you can't see it anyways. But sometimes it breaks, but it was so nice. I had ideas to like render a version of it inside of Source and then like green screen the Goldlewis in. I am so thankful that I found that add-on so I didn't have to do it, because working inside a Blender was way, 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 way easier. I also want to quickly show some of those like work in progress videos. They're kind of silly. You get some static cameras going on. As you can see, it's just some absolutely just goofy looking stuff when I was working on it. I got the main body animation going on first before I even attempted the visemes and whatnot. But like the compositing, I was just focused on animation that I forgot how to composite. It was quite silly. But I hope you all enjoyed the behind the scenes though.